Hello, how are you?
So tired. Can you hear that on the
Yeah,
podcast?
what was that?
Well, that's my life. That's Austin fixing the closets in our bedrooms. So
Oh, so
I
if you
guess
hear
I can.
background noise, it is what
Yeah,
it is.
sorry. He's
We're
he's
we're
being
mom's doing our best.
but yeah, he's redoing the closets in the two bedrooms upstairs because there was those wire shelves. I don't know if
Yeah.
you've ever had that, but
Mhm.
you can't slide your clothes back and forth because they
Yep.
have the brackets. So we don't like those at all. And then we wanted to put one long rod instead of two on each side because
Yeah.
there was two on each side in Axel's room. So we're redoing that, making them look nicer. So yeah,
I
yeah.
have one of those wire ones. I have it in this room actually that has the wire and it's a pain in the butt. Like I
Yeah,
don't
you can't
know.
move the clothes. Like why are they
No.
it's a great invention that it's together in one piece, but
Mhm.
I don't like it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't either.
Mm. Also, when you hang your clothes, do you hang it forward or do you hang the hanger backwards, like facing you?
So, normally I would hang it forward, but I grew up in a home that had like these weird shelves that curved
Yes.
under. And
Yes, me
so
too.
I started to hang them backwards. I don't even know how I've done it in Eleanor's room because I could do it either way. But yeah, so
Yeah, I was so used to hanging them backwards like that, and then now it doesn't matter because
mhm.
we have the rod. But yeah, that's how I grew up too.
Mhm. I know,
Austin think
yeah.
I was crazy. He's like, it goes forward. Like, okay. Anyway, we have been learning our animal sounds.
Yay.
It's really funny, actually. Like, I just like listening to him, and
Mhm.
when he says woof woof for a dog, it's so high pitched and soft. It's like like oh my god. So we're learning the animal sounds. We like to do it. He'll bring me the book. We'll keep looking at them and saying it. And when he has started saying other words, I videoed him trying to say ball, cat, all the animal sounds, all this stuff. Just keep asking him all the time.
Mhm.
When he says ball, but he says it like ball, like so strong and like the whole O in his face. And I
Yeah.
was like, okay. And then we started saying no, and he says no, kind of same like no,
Yeah.
but he'll do this finger thing, and he'll just go back and forth with his finger while he says no. And I'm like, where did you
No.
get the finger thing? So I don't know if they do that at daycare where they say no
Yeah.
with the finger, but yeah. So yeah,
That's
we
really
say
funny.
no with the finger now.
I love, like, the baby way of saying things because they're all just so funny. I'm, like, trying to think of, like, Eleanor when she was first speaking, but she did stuff like that too. I mean, she still does. Like, she can't say oatmeal, so she says "Amina." And so, like, I just love these little baby iterations of, like,
Oh
her
yeah,
words, and then it's really sad when they leave, like, when they're no longer a thing and they replace it with the actual
like
word.
word. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I feel like I need to record them all because
You
it's so funny.
do.
And he gets so excited. I'm trying to remember. Oh, I taught him neigh for the horse, and he gets so excited whenever we say neigh for the horse.
Oh my god, I bet animal sounds are, like, even funnier too.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. But I'm surprised he's even interested in the words because he hasn't been at all. And
Mhm.
now all of a sudden he just randomly started showing interest in it. So
Yeah, I bet you his language is probably now that he's, like, showing interest, it's probably gonna blow
oh
up.
yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. So
It's funny, I saw this TikTok of this woman who has a girl, and she starts to explain about how she felt like her daughter was a genius. Like, she thought people were gonna come in and research her. Now, she's obviously over exaggerating, but she was like, "All my friends have boys." And so my daughter just comes off as like being this genius. She's like, but I took her to this indoor play gym the other day and she was interacting with other girls. And I was like, oh, shoot, she's not even the smartest girl in this room. She's like, so, so it's really interesting. I'm interested to see how once I do have my son, how his development will differ from
Mm.
Eleanor's, because you do hear that a lot, that, in terms of a language, especially, girls tend to be a lot more advanced in that way. So it's really interesting, and I wonder like what the factor is of that.
Well, maybe because girls just like to talk more. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's more of our interest, but yeah, like he just had no interest in it. He was more
Mhm.
interested in like making the car go and like running around and falling
Mhm.
down. So it's different. It's interesting though.
Yeah. Yeah, it is interesting.
It'll be interesting to see how both of the kids are now
Yeah,
that you have
and,
a
like, the
girl and
same family, like, we're
yeah.
in the same family, we're gonna do the same things that we did with Eleanor, and how that will, yeah, I'm interested to see if he'll be a slow talker or fast talker like her. Yeah, I'm
I
excited.
tried to get a video the other day of just Axel being Axel to like send like I was like show Megan how crazy you are. And then of course he stopped doing whatever he was
Of
doing. So
course.
but I was dedicated to show you like all the
I know, I
craziness.
wanna see, because when I was over, he was, like, pretty calm. I mean, he was, like, climbing all over stuff and bonking a lot, but I wouldn't say, I didn't think he, like, in terms of behavior, was much different than Eleanor at that point. So, curious to see what is like, you know,
Yeah, yeah. It's just
super rambunctious.
exhausting now. Oh, what's going on with you though?
This weekend, we took Eleanor to a bug hunt, which was really cute. It was put on by our neighboring township. I don't really understand it, because we're like right in the area, but we like went to this nature preserve, and there's like a little hiking, so you had to hike out, and then out, you had to like get to the spot, and they had a bunch of workers there, and they had these nets, and you would take the nets and you would like run them through the weeds and the flowers and the trees, and then you would bring the nets out and you would dump it out and see what bugs you found, and then they would like help name them, and you could put them in a little container temporarily so that all the kids could look at it. But it was really fun. She had fun. I'm starting to learn though that she doesn't really like bugs, because we'd put them down. It was so funny. It was a stink bug. It was like a native stink bug, so it was little and it was green, and the guy had it on a little stick, and we were showing Eleanor, and he's like, "You can touch it." So she goes and she touches it, which she was so brave. I don't know why she did it if she like didn't like it, but she touches it and then she starts crying that she like touched the bug. So I was like, "Oh, mama can touch it too." But we caught a caterpillar, so that was really cute. But it was really cute. And it looks like our township, ours and like our neighboring township, do a lot of that. So there's a lot more events. Some of them are like outdoor movie nights, which I don't think she's ready for, but some of it I think is going to be really cute to take her to. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Yeah.
I haven't even looked into like what we have, but I feel like you have a lot of fun things by you.
Yeah, we do have a decent amount. I mean, we're in a much more dense area than you, but I
Yeah.
imagine you guys have stuff going on, if not through the township, maybe like the library or something like that.
Yeah, I just found a library the other day, so I was like,
Hmm.
"Oh, we do have a library." Okay.
Hmm.
I didn't think we had one.
Uh, yeah, and then Sunday, what did we do Sunday? Oh, yeah, we met Rob's parents and we took her to this park, and she's like obsessed with the swing. Like, all she wants to do is swing at the park,
Mm.
but she's like super obsessed. And then she goes, wee, wee. And then she'll be like, wee, mama, wee, dada, wee, Pessy. I'm like, she like alternates through. She does like these little sing song things. It's really funny. But yeah, we took her to the park, and both days, like after the bug hunt and the park, like I took a nap with her for a good like 2 hours. I'm like, man, it's like being outside in the heat and just going from the morning. I was like, by the time I hit 1, 2 o'clock, I'm like, I'm down with you, girl. I'm like, I'm
I
so
know.
tired.
Oh, we went to a gender reveal yesterday. We were there maybe an hour and a half, maybe 2 hours. And Axel just wanted to run around, and we were like in the direct sun, and I was so
Hmm.
hot. I was like so tired. We're chasing him around. I'm like, okay, it's time to go. He passes out as soon as we get there, or as soon as we got in the car on the way home.
Yep.
But yeah, but there's another boy. So all of my
Ooh.
friends are having boys. So oh,
Hmm.
I don't know one friend that's having a girl right now.
Really?
Yeah, isn't that weird?
That is kind of crazy. I just found out a few other friends of mine are pregnant too. And I'm like, wow, but it is the time. It's the time.
It's the time.
Welcome, everybody, to the Mom Era podcast. My name is Megan.
And I'm Alyssa.
And today we are tackling a topic that every single parent encounters, but few are fully prepared for. This is kind of how I feel, and it's toddler tantrums. So, from those sudden outbursts in the grocery store to the inexplicit meltdowns at bedtime, tantrums are a universal challenge that can leave even the most patient parent feeling overwhelmed. So, in this episode, we'll share our own stories, our struggles, and strategies for managing these fiery moments.
Yeah, so join us as we explore why tantrums happen, what our toddlers are trying to communicate, and how we can respond with empathy and effectiveness. Whether you're a first time mom, a seasoned parent, we hope this episode provides you with some reassurance, a few laughs, and a lot of practical tips to navigate those tricky tantrums. Wow, that's a tongue twister.
Ticky tantrums. That's how they are. They are, though.
They-
Uh,
oh,
well, I thought maybe we could discuss just like, because I think we're both kind of made a transition to where our toddlers are starting to have tantrums. And so
mhm.
we are kind of encountering this for the first time, how to handle them and what the tantrums actually look like for us and why they're happening. So I thought maybe we can kind of discuss our experience and then kind of jump into understanding why they have them and then tips for
Yeah.
working, managing them.
Quick question. When would you say was like the turning point where you started to notice them for like Eleanor? I'm really curious.
Honestly, honestly, it's been the last few months, so maybe 15 months. I would say though, it's been like probably since 18 months where they've been more prevalent.
Okay.
But I would say around 15 months is really where we were starting to like have one here and there. What about you?
I would say 16 months. We started with one here and there. He's 17 months now, and they're starting to get a little bit more intense. So I'm just like
Mhm.
waiting for 18 months to hit because I did hear that they get very strong around 18
Mhm.
months. It's like a very significant development stage for them.
Yes, and I can definitely see that for sure. Like if I think about us and our tantrum journey, and ours might have been the same, maybe 15, 16 months. It's really hard to pinpoint like when
Yeah.
all that started, but it's been mild. I mean, it was very mild. So we have entered that stage. I think Eleanor being able to communicate so well has kind of been able to like keep our tantrums mild because she has been able to communicate what she wants and we're able to understand her. Where we're kind of running into issues at this point is having her do things she doesn't want to do. So she's become very opinionated, wants to do things how she wants to do things, wants to do things when she wants to do things. And so when sometimes we have to change her diaper and she doesn't want to, like she will full blown start having a tantrum. Or I feel like she just had one earlier. Oh, when we have to take something away from her that she shouldn't have, for her safety, like she'll start breaking down. She had like 5-minute cry session earlier because Rob took my chapstick from her because she really wanted to play with my chapstick. So it's just interesting because it's circumstances where we really have to, like, it's kind of out of our control and out of her control. These are things that we like have to do. But I have noticed, like, if she's due for a nap or if I know she's like teething really hard, like tantrums and just like grumpiness will happen more often. We actually brought up hitting to our pediatrician since Eleanor started like swinging her arms when she's upset. And she'll be like, no,
Mm.
no, 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 no. Or if I'm like holding her and she something happens she doesn't want, she'll like start hitting my face. And so we've been saying you can't do that. We've been trying to explain to her like when you're frustrated, you can do things like stomp your feet. you can throw your fists into a pillow. So we're trying to give her alternatives, but I don't think it's quite clicking yet. So I brought it up to the pediatrician because it feels like it started to become a game where she would
Mhm.
like, and then smile. And Rob was like nervous. He's like, "Oh my God, are we raising like a psychopath?" Like, where she's smiling. I'm like, well, that's not the case. I mean, she's learning empathy. She's learning all these things. She doesn't quite understand it. And the pediatrician confirmed, like, yeah, it's becoming a game to her. Like, what you want to do is give her a firm no. So she basically explained that when you have a toddler, there's a lot of things you're saying no about, and that it's better to have certain areas where you're going to have firm no's, and this should be one of them. So if you're holding her, she does that, she hits you, you say no, like in a very firm voice, put her down and walk away, because what she wants more than anything is our attention. And so
Mhm.
by taking our attention away, she's kind of learning like this is not okay. We've also been trying to explain to her, like, which this has been somewhat more effective, like, I feel bad when you do that. Like, that doesn't make mom feel good, or, that hurts, or whatever. So we're trying to explain that too, but her little hitting has not been fun. But yeah, we use all kinds of different strategies, which we'll talk about a few. I would say the ones that work best for us is probably distraction, and also at the same time kind of teaching that emotional regulation. But we honestly use different approaches based on that situation, because they're all different. But overall, it's challenging. Rob and I are really trying our best to just like stay calm and collected during these moments, and not ourselves get like overwhelmed and upset. So yeah, it's been a ride. What about you guys?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a lot. And I guess I feel like I'm very like, this is what it is. I have no problem like sticking to my word. So if I'm saying no to something, I'm gonna put it away. We're not gonna have it. However, it is sometimes hard because I just like want to give in and
Yeah.
make him feel better. So that's been an area. But I feel like most of our tantrums have stemmed from him. And I feel like having a baby boy, this is like the way I can explain it. I'm literally watching him, making sure he's not like getting into something, falling over, something that's going to hurt him because
Yeah.
it's literally all he wants to do, right? So I'm constantly like watching him. Before I came down here to do this episode, I had to pull his hand out of the toilet because he was splashing in the toilet. Again, I still haven't gotten the things yet, but we're getting there. But our tantrums have been like he wants his bow and giraffe. He picks up a knife and I have to take it away from him.
Mhm.
And I give him something different. He wants me to hold him all the
Yeah.
time.
Mhm.
Wants me to hold, and then wants to like do what I'm doing. And then he just gets mad if he's in the car seat. He doesn't want to go in the car seat. He doesn't want to sit in the like cart at the store for a long time. He wants to walk. And if you show him that he can walk somewhere and then you try to put him back in the cart at a store,
Yes.
it's the
Mhm.
end of the world. So
Oh, yeah.
those are his areas. But honestly, I've been redirecting um with the because we did have some of those hitting things. He would think it was funny because he would like hit your face
Mhm.
and then you'd come back and he'd laugh.
Yep.
And so then I did the firm no, and I don't like give him a reaction out of it. Like if I say no and then he does it again, I just don't react because I can't like this is not we're not doing this. And then I
Mhm.
like put him down or move on. I did show him he can hit the dresser or he can hit the pillow
Yeah.
instead. So I try to redirect. We have been having a lot lately with Giraffe and then his pacifier. We call the pacifier a bow. I don't know why I grew up calling it a bow. It's just forever a bow. So he will stand at his crib and scream and cry if he can't reach Giraffe and Bo. And I'll tell him, no, Giraffe and Bo need to stay in bed. They're for nap time. I even like put the pacifier in the sleep sack and put Giraffe
Mhm.
by him. I'm like, he's sleeping, and just tears coming down, like
Oh.
just crying. And I'm like, okay, let's go see what dad's doing. And so I like take him out of the room and he was distracted in 5 minutes. But usually I give in and just give it to him. But I'm like, no, like we need to not give in and give it to him. I think he's teething right now. So that's why I have been giving in because he just got another one breakthrough on the top and then another one on the bottom. So I'm like, I guess you can have the pacifier. But I was trying to strictly do it at naps and bedtime. So those are most of our tantrums. Austin and I are pretty aligned on how we like to handle things. Or if Austin says no to something, then I mean, I'm
Mhm.
just saying no to it too. Like it's been an easy transition for us. We haven't had any issues with it. But it's just that like when I'm by myself and like he's freaking out or I need to calm him down, like it's a lot harder
Yeah.
and more of a reaction from me when I'm trying to keep calm. Because sometimes I'll just be like, I can't put him in his pajamas. You need to do it. I can't. He won't let me.
Mhm. Yeah.
Does Eleanor let you put her pajamas on?
She doesn't have any issues with clothes generally, no.
We do this new thing where after the bath, we literally flip and try to hang off of our what's that thing called? Your diaper change table. So he will literally put his hands, put his feet over, and like hang down on his hands, and then get on the ground. And I'm like, no, we got to put your diaper on. So I pick him back up and he's just rolling. So it'll
Uh-huh.
take me 10 minutes to get the diaper on and then I'll chase him on the floor to put the clothes on. And I can't even do it sometimes. But then when Austin does it, he just lays there like a perfect little
Really?
angel.
I mean, Eleanor's never been the type to where she'll just like allow you to put the clothes on. Well, yes and no, but a lot of times I'll get her head on and then she's playing with something and then she wants to go hide and then I'll get an arm through and another arm through and then she's kind of like moving around the room and then I'll be like, "Okay, got to put your pants on." She'll let me like lay her down and put it on. So it's kind of like uh I don't know.
Meanwhile, I'll
It's
say, let's put your pants on and he runs from me.
yeah.
So
Ah,
yeah, I don't
he
know.
wants
It's
to
like
be a
a
naked
mom.
baby. Maybe he's just
Yeah.
they're just babies that don't like to wear clothes.
Yeah, but, then one time I was like, "I'm gonna call your dad," because it had been, like, maybe 15 minutes, and I was like, "You need to get your pajamas on." And so I'm like, "Dad," and then he looks at me and he starts, like, crying. He's like, "Uh," and then he comes back over and once he puts his pajamas on, I'm like, "Okay, I guess dad's scary, so we're gonna do that."
That is so funny.
So, yeah, I guess that's the majority of our tantrum life.
Yeah, it's just I feel like they're becoming more independent and they're like understanding and wanting things their own way and yeah, it's interesting having a little aware toddler who
Mhm.
wants things a certain way but can't tell you what it is.
Yeah, and he can't communicate like Eleanor does. So it's like he just immediately starts crying instead of
Mhm.
telling me what he wants. So then I have to like calm him down and then be like, "What? Like tell
Yeah.
mama what do you want?" And then he'll just like start signing eat or something.
Mhm. And I feel like I don't know if you feel this way, but crying can be very triggering for me where I immediately if like she is just I have like an immediate reaction and I'm like, "Okay, we got to make this stop." You know? Like
Mhm.
it's I can get very overwhelmed when a lot of crying is happening.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit subsided for me just because and I try to tell people that like I he will literally cry almost every night, but it's
Yeah.
like those night terrors, those like fake cries. So I literally like listen to him cry for a minute and then he's like back to sleep. So I'm just so used to like
Yeah.
not reacting right away. So it's a very different
It
like
is.
alarm that's going off in my head.
And Eleanor's not been a huge crier. Like obviously there's she's cried, you know, she
Mhm.
does cry, but she's just not like a baby that cried all the time and she hasn't been a toddler that's cried all the time. So like when she does, it like really can set me up cuz it's not something that we just deal with all the time, you know what I mean?
Yeah, 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 yeah. Same with Axel. He's not a crier either. It's just that has always happened, and I've always had a delayed response. So I think my brain doesn't alarm as much.
Yeah. Yeah, I got to train mine, especially with another one coming.
Yeah, you're gonna have two. Uh, but I think we should dive into understanding why toddlers have tantrums. Toddlers have tantrums for lots of reasons, often rooted in their developmental stage and limited communication skills. So I think Megan and I were touching on this as well. Like they're trying to communicate something, they're struggling to communicate it to us, so they're acting out with a tantrum. Understanding these underlying causes can help parents and caregivers respond to tantrums with more empathy and patience. And I think it has helped me to try and focus on figuring out what he needs,
Mhm.
be calmer in the situation than it is to just like, okay, like stop crying, like calm down, because that
Yeah.
doesn't calm the baby down.
Yep.
One reason would be frustration with communication. So, toddlers often know what they want but lack the verbal skills to express themselves clearly. This communication gap can lead to frustration and tantrums.
This is I mean, I think this is such a I even with Eleanor being a good communicator, there also is frustration with communication because she can't say everything, and I
Mhm.
think we're at a point now where she can say so much, but sometimes you hear a word and you're like, "What was that?" Like, I don't know what you just said, and she doesn't understand that to, like, repeat it or to whatever, so sometimes we can get caught in that, but I think a lot of tantrums come from this communication or miscommunication or not being able to communicate.
Yeah, which is like, I guess if you think about it, so hard because you're like, I wish they could just tell me what's wrong.
Mhm.
But
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
learning. They're learning.
they are. So another reason toddlers have tantrums is that desire for independence. So toddlers are at a stage where they crave that independence. They want to do things on their own. And when they can't achieve something or they're not allowed to do something they want, it can lead to a tantrum. And I think this kind of lends into what I was talking about earlier when we had to take that chapstick away from her. She really loves the chapstick. She loves to open it and close it and open it and close it, but she's like destroying all my chapstick. So we're like she's trying to not have her play with them. So like taking that away, she wants to do that. She knows she can do it. She's played with it before, so now taking away, she's like, "Ah," and then she like, has her mini tantrum. So,
Mhm.
that desire for independence, they want to do these things on their own is causing a lot of those meltdowns.
He wants to do everything himself too. Like, for example, like, it's probably similar to the chapstick, but he likes to take this cap off of this marker and put it back on. Or he wants to pick up the fork and like he wants to make noise with the fork in the bowl, but he wants to take a fork from the dishwasher that's dirty. So I'm like, no, I need to take that away. Here's a new one. So like just things like that is where he'll be like, I want to do it myself. Like leave me alone.
I think what you had said earlier too about like the walking and not being in the car, I think that also
Ugh,
is a huge one. So you said
yeah.
that, and I was like, oh yeah, we let her walk around Meyer that one time, and I even said it on here. And now anytime we're at a store, she does not want to stay in that cart very long.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I don't take him out at like the grocery store, but like when we went to where were we? I don't even know where we were, but we were at a place that wasn't like a grocery store or something, and I was letting him walk around, but like he just beelines for the parking lot. And like, oh, it was at a restaurant. We had left the
I
restaurant
was
and
gonna
I
say
let
the
him walk
furniture
out.
store because you
That was
said
at
that
the
have it.
furniture too,
Yeah.
yeah. But like he just runs like straight to the parking lot. He no longer wants to hold my hand. He can walk by himself. Yeah, it's a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
Overstimulation or fatigue is another one. So, being overwhelmed by too much sensory input or being overly tired can make it difficult for toddlers to regulate their emotions, leading to meltdowns. You can definitely see this when they're just overly tired. They're like crying and whining about everything. So, it's like, okay, time for you to go to bed.
Yeah. Yes. Biggest cue. We're putting you to bed. Yeah, we get this a lot right before nap, less at bedtime, but a lot of times right before nap, she's like really ready and super crabby.
Yeah. Yeah. Another one is hunger or discomfort. Basic needs like hunger, thirst, or physical discomfort can trigger tantrums, especially if the toddler is not able to articulate these needs. This is one that happens to us in the middle of the night. Like if Axel doesn't decide he wants to drink his milk at night, then like 2, 3 hours later, he'll wake up just like screaming because he's hungry. And then it takes me a good 10 minutes for him to tell me he wants to, he wants milk, wants to
Yep.
eat. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Does Eleanor do that at all or no?
No,
No?
honestly, no, we don't have any issues with, at least from what I've noticed, there's been no like tantrums coming from hunger, discomfort, or crying or anything like that. I mean, we have a pretty stable routine when it comes to eating. I think it's harder to get her to eat now at this period since probably
Okay.
the last month or so. So that's kind of where we're at.
He's still like, just eats and eats and eats and eats. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I wonder if our boy will be like that. Eating, eating, eating. Another reason why toddlers can have tantrums is the need for attention. So sometimes tantrums can be a way for toddlers to get attention from their parents or caregivers, especially if they feel neglected or ignored. I wouldn't say this is I haven't seen this reason kind of come up for us at this point too much. I mean, Rob and I are very in tune with her and kind of with her all day. So I don't know. I haven't really seen this in our case. I don't know about you.
Not that often, but I do get a lot of the like he wants to be held while I'm cooking dinner. So like if I'm
Yeah.
focusing on cooking dinner, he wants me to be holding him. Or like when I was focusing on my laptop earlier because I was doing the bills. Like he wants me to be holding him while I'm doing that. So that gets
Yep.
really frustrating because he doesn't do that to Austin. It's only to me.
Yep.
So I'm like, I can't get anything done.
That is a really good point. I mean, like what you making that point makes me think of Eleanor does have like a huge attachment to me right now. So like we were on that bug hunt, she's like mama hold. So she wanted me to hold her, but I can only, I'm pregnant. I can only hold her for so long, especially when we're like hiking in the woods. And so, I would try to give her to Rob for a little bit, and then she'd be like, "No, mama, 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 mama." So like she never really had like a full on tantrum about it, but she does get very upset because she wants like my attention specifically.
Yeah. Yeah. It's very much all about me right now,
Hmm.
too.
Yeah, it's hard.
Another one is testing boundaries. So toddlers are learning about limits and boundaries. Tantrums can be a way of testing these boundaries and seeing how far they can push them. I wouldn't say we're at the tantrum piece of the testing the boundary, but we definitely like if I say no, don't do that, then he'll just like go to do it anyway or like slowly do it while looking at me.
Yes.
Like no, 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 no.
We're kind of there too. Again, we haven't really had tantrums stem from it, but you're like, don't touch that. And she like looks at you. It's like going to
And
touch
like
it. You're like, what are you
slowly
gonna do?
moving towards it. Yeah. Like I can still see you doing it.
Yeah.
Oh, they think
Oh,
they're
it's
funny.
funny. I know. And then the last one we want to talk about is developmental changes. So, as toddlers develop and grow, they experience a lot of new emotions and sensations that they don't really know how to handle yet. So, this can result in an emotional outburst. So, these are all very, very new to our children. So, they're just kind of learning how to handle, and tantrums can come out of it. Just
Mhm.
like adults, I think adults throw tantrums sometimes when we feel emotions that we don't know how to
Oh
handle
yeah.
also.
Oh yeah. I remember one time I was like so frustrated. I don't even remember what it was, but I was like, I can't do this. And I like stormed out of the room and Austin like, took care of whatever. And then he comes back and he's like, are you done being dramatic now? Like he's like, are you gonna scream I can't do it again?
That's so
Uh,
funny. It makes me think of like literally the other day we were downstairs and Eleanor has no patience. She's not a patient child. And I'm not very patient either. So I was like, oh, you know, I think she has my patience. And Rob's like, oh, I hope not. And then he was like, I forget what he said, but he was basically like, you're comparing. Well, he was basically saying that Eleanor is like, she's just a kid. So she's just learning and whatever. And he's like, what do you got to say about yourself if your patience is as bad as a kid? And I'm like, listen, I'm working on myself.
I am trying to be patient. I'm working on it. It's hard.
Uh,
Okay. Coming from the two men that are like the most patient people on
I
God's planet.
know. Why did we marry the most patient people? They don't
And
understand.
we're like, okay, go, go.
We're like, we got to get things done. We got to
Yeah.
go. There's no waiting.
It keeps us balanced.
Uh-huh.
Literally. I'm like, we buy eggs locally.
Hmm.
And so, like, the walk from the car to put the money in the thing to get the eggs back to our car is like maybe like 10, 11 feet. Like, not even
Hmm.
that far. And Austin takes so long to walk over there, open it, put the money in, lifts up the thing, make sure he's putting the money in the right way, grabs the eggs, close the thing, walks back really so I'm like, just get the eggs and get in the car. Like
And you're like in the car fuming. You're like, go walk faster.
like come
I'm like
on.
that too. I'm like, come on, move those legs.
Uh, uh. But yeah, so now that we've talked about all of the ways why toddlers have tantrums, we want to talk about strategies for managing them because it's a lot. You don't have time to research. You're a mom. So we brought the research to you so that you can help manage your toddler's tantrum.
Yeah. So the first is Stay calm as the parent and maintain your composure. This can help de escalate the situation. If you do get upset, it may fuel your toddler's emotions. They can feel that from you. So
Mhm.
they'll start feeling even more upset, breaking down even more. You can also, as the parent, take deep breaths to help keep yourself composed in these moments. It's a good technique to also teach your child to help them calm down. And something actually we use, Rob uses it a lot, where he'll be like, okay, Eleanor, breathe. And he like taught her how to belly breathe. So he makes her belly really big. And so they
Mm.
do that. It worked for a while. And now it's at a point where Rob's like, let's breathe. And she like gets upset at that. So, um, but it's a good technique that at least works for us and sometimes works for her now.
This is another one too, I would say, like, as a newborn parent, because, like, obviously the baby can only communicate with you through crying, and, like, when they're super upset, they're gonna cry harder, and then it's been, like, 20 minutes and you can't get them to stop crying, and you get super frustrated. The baby can tell that you're frustrated, and
Yeah.
so keeping your composure at that point in time and staying calm helps the baby stay calm as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, that really helped with us in the newborn stage.
Yeah.
And you can hear it too, like, once you get frustrated, like, you can hear the babies, like, cry gets even more intense. Oops.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's kinda crazy how they can, like, sense all that.
Yeah. Acknowledge your toddler's feelings, so show empathy by acknowledging their emotions. For example, I know you're very upset because you want the toy. Then validate their feelings to let them know it's okay to feel angry or frustrated. This is something that I usually have to do in the car just because we live so far away from everything now. It's probably about an hour drive if we do go somewhere. And so Axel gets just like annoyed at being in the car.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I know mommy and daddy want to get out of the car too. I know you're frustrated. So I just always acknowledge it and validate it because that's all I can do at that point. I can't
Mhm.
take him out of the car.
Yeah. And it's good because it's, like, teaching them to understand their own emotions and being able to start regulate it. So, yeah. Another one is providing your toddler with comfort. I feel like this one feels a little obvious, but, hugging, holding your child can help them feel secure and loved. So use a calm and soothing voice to help reassure them. This is one where Eleanor would just never let us do this in a toddler or in a tantrum. If you were like, "Oh, can I have a hug?" She's just not very much like a de-escalate by hugging type of gal, and that's okay. But we really do use
Hmm.
that comfort voice, the soothing voice, the calm voice, and that does help.
Yeah. I don't think I've tried that one during a tantrum, but usually when he's super upset, I try
Hmm.
to hold him like that and calm him down. But yeah, I
Yeah.
mean, you're all they know, you know? Distract and redirect your toddler. So change their focus by redirecting your toddler's attention to something else. This could be a toy, a game, a different activity. I used an example earlier. If he pulls a fork out of the dishwasher that's dirty, I replace it with a clean one. Or if he's like, I really can't get him to calm down at all, we start looking at his clothes and touching and seeing how they feel and looking at the cars and looking at the books and everything just around us.
Yeah, and once your child does start being able to talk, a good thing too that I read and we've actually been using is giving them a yes or no question when they're like kind of having a breakdown. So you could be like, "Is that your blankie?" and like point to it and she'd be like, "Yes." And that can help pull them out too. So that yes or no questions really seem to help and it's helped us. Another one is just setting clear and consistent boundaries. So be consistent with the rules and expectations. Alyssa, you talked about this earlier. You're trying to hold firm on your boundaries and your rules. And this really helps toddlers understand their limits. It helps them understand the yeses and the nos and provide a simple, clear explanation as for why certain behaviors are not allowed and alternatives as to what is allowed. Because I think toddlers are so young, you can tell them no, you can't do that, but then they don't understand what they can do. So, like, making sure that they do know their alternatives and what they can do instead is good.
Yeah. Yeah. Because if you think about it, it's someone that doesn't know right from wrong. And you're like, no, you
Mhm.
can't do that. And they're like, okay, well, what can I do?
Right. Yeah.
Offer your child limited choices to help them feel in control. So, for example, would you like the red shirt or the blue shirt? This empowers your toddler to make decisions and reduces frustration when they don't know which one to pick.
We do this a lot. We offer her a lot of choices. Like she picks out her pajamas at the end of the night. So maybe that is helpful for us. She
Mm,
helps pick out her clothes during the day, or sometimes we'll pull out two and we'll say, which one do you want to wear? So we do offer her a lot of choices throughout the day, which I guess could be helping.
yeah. Yeah, we don't do that. I just pick them.
Yeah.
But I let him pick out my dress for my sister's shower the other day, and
Aw,
it was cute. He, like,
that
picked
is
it
cute.
out and then watched me, like, try it on and, like, got all smiley when I had it on. I was like, "Oh, you love
It's
your
like, I
mama."
picked this.
Yeah.
Another technique or strategy would be to use positive reinforcement to praise their good behavior. So, this encourages your toddlers to repeat that behavior. You could implement a simple reward system to motivate them to follow rules. So, I've seen people do stickers. I remember seeing this video on TikTok where this woman was trying to get her son to eat dinner and he was just really struggling to eat. And she had brought out stickers, and every time he took a bite, he could put a sticker on it. And it became this like fun activity of positive reinforcement where he then ate his whole dinner. We don't do anything like stickers or anything at this moment, but we do a lot of praising. So anytime Eleanor does something positive or something new or something that she should do, we always say good job or I'm so proud of you. So that's like a huge part of just our everyday. I feel like I'm saying that 1,000 times a day.
Yeah. Yeah, I use the positive reinforcement in the language. I don't think he's really interested in stickers yet or, like,
Yeah.
things like that yet, so I haven't been able to use those. Another one is prepare your toddler for transitions by giving them advance notice. So, for example, we'll leave the park in 5 minutes. It's good to establish a routine that they can anticipate and rely on. I usually have gotten in a habit of telling him like what we're doing, like, oh, we're going here, we're doing this. I haven't like done like advance notice, like we're gonna leave in 5 minutes because he doesn't even know what 5 minutes is. But
Yeah.
um, yeah,
We do this too. We do a lot of narration. So we'll narrate a lot of our lives out loud, and she's starting to do that. We don't use time related transition timing, I guess. But for example, when we brush her teeth, we watch like these toothbrushing songs so she's able to like do it herself. And so she'll watch one, I'll be like, "Okay, we're going to watch one more. Which one do you want?" And so she knows at the end of that one we're done with the videos. And so we try to do more of that where like if we were at the park we'd be like, okay, we can swing and then we're going to leave the park, so then it's kind of like, okay, this is the last
hmm
thing I'm doing. So like we're trying to do it in ways that she somewhat understands. But yeah, a lot of narration is going on in our house, and Eleanor starts she'll be like, walking, I'm like, okay.
oh, oh,
Another technique is to always ensure your toddler's basic needs are met. Obviously, everybody is trying to do this. I don't think this is like
yeah,
a strategy. I think this is a strategy everybody's kind of doing. But obviously, keeping them well fed prevents those hunger related tantrums, and in making sure they get enough rest to avoid tiredness triggered meltdowns. A lot of this, or sometimes this is something we can't always control, like the amount of sleep our child gets. As much as we can try to force more sleep, it doesn't always happen. Or same with food, the amount of times we try to, like in your case, where he'll wake up hungry in the middle of the night. You do your best to try to alleviate that, but sometimes it happens. But yeah, as much as we can make sure those basic needs are met throughout the day, it kind of makes everything easier.
yeah. And one just want to piggyback off of the sleeping, like that's just something I've learned. Like if they get their sleep during the day, then they're going to sleep well at night. And
Hmm.
like I get like being on the go, and like I really think if I do have a second kid, like I want to be flexible and be able to have that baby like nap on the go, but I am not going to not have my child nap. Like because
Yeah,
it's just such a difference in terms of how they act, like how they sleep that night. Like it's just is such a key thing and they need it from a development perspective. So
yeah,
big advocate for specific sleep times and a routine.
hmm,
I know you are too.
yeah.
Teach emotional regulation. So help your toddler identify and name their emotions. I see you're feeling angry when you're upset. Teach simple coping skills like deep breathing or counting to 10. So I think you had talked about that one as well. But yeah, just always identify that what they're going through and what their emotions are.
Yeah, something I'm really going to focus. We have books right now that teach a lot of emotional regulation. I actually bought like these toys. I'll have to send them to you, but I'm gonna give them. I bought them for either her second birthday or for Christmas. But there are these toys that you can like. There's liquid in it and like glitter, and you can move them. But there's like different emotions on them, and I read
Hmm.
really good things about them. And then a bunch of like different books and stuff. So I've been trying to like collect some of this stuff for future birthdays and Christmas, so we can like really have toys focused around this for learning. But I'll send you the one I bought.
Yeah, I have like this little. It's like a little basket of people, and they each have a different face, a different emotion
Hmm.
on.
Yeah.
That's all I have right now. But yeah,
Yeah. I know we don't have very much either. I think mostly we have books. We have like those eggs and they have faces on it. But otherwise, the books are like our biggest learning tool right now and our own emotions, I guess.
yeah.
The last one is staying consistent and patient as the parent in these moments. So understand that tantrums, they're normal. They're a part of their development. They will decrease with time and maturity. So just stay consistent in your approach, and over time, your toddler will learn better ways to express their emotions. So we're in the thick of it, but it will not last forever.
So I think that that's all of our topics. Well, not our topics, our strategies and how we've tried to combat the managing the tantrums and like navigating day to day, because it's a lot. It's a lot of emotion. It's a lot as like a working parent. But yeah, we hope these strategies were helpful for you and your family, just navigating all the new stages of toddler tantrums. Let's go into our mom eras. What mom era are you in this week?
Okay, so I am back in the like baby brain returning. I think I talked about this a little bit before, how I felt like I was getting back to normal, but I can feel myself sliding back into that baby brain where, and I know everybody experiences it a little bit differently, but I just feel like I have these thoughts in my head, right? And when I try to communicate them out, my words are jumbled. I don't know what word I'm looking for. I can't remember things. Like and it's so jarring to like be in that state. I don't know if you felt that way, but like being back
Mhm.
in it, I'm like, oh my gosh, because it feels like something's wrong with you. Feels like, you're not yourself. You can't communicate. So I'm just curious to see, like, I feel like I've already felt like this the past few episodes, but I'm curious to see even further down the line if like
Like,
me in these
for
episodes I'm going to just sound even crazier and crazier, but that's how I feel. I'm definitely like in baby brain mom era. Like I'm going to be here for a while, you guys.
yeah. Yeah, I remember it. Like, I just was like, I was like, you know what I'm trying to say? I don't know what I'm trying to
I know.
say. I remember just working, and at the end, like, trying to work was so hard because it's just like
Mhm.
you couldn't get your words out. So,
Uh-uh.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lot.
Yeah. Well, what mom era are you in?
I am in my internet mom era.
Ooh.
I now have internet
You
at my
do?
house.
What
Yeah.
did you get?
It's like the Verizon home internet. It's like
Okay.
that or Starlink are the only options here. And it finally like became available. So we ordered it and I got this like Verizon box. Yeah.
Cool. Look at
Uh,
you.
I know. Like 3 months later. But yeah, no, because like there's only a specific amount of people that can have them. And so it was like, oh, we're going to notify you when it's available.
Uh-huh.
It never notified us. So, like, Austin would just check periodically, and one day it was like available, and I'm like, we need to get it now.
Yeah. Seriously.
So, yeah, we finally have internet.
That's exciting.
I also have an IVF update. So, I did do it was my blood work for my beta, my pregnancy test, that's what they call it. And it came back positive.
Oh, yay!
So, we're
Oh
going
my
to have
gosh.
babies together. Uh, so, yeah, so it came back positive, and then basically they do blood work again to make sure that it's doubling 2 days later. So that one also came back positive. So I am in the clear and currently waiting for my first ultrasound. So we will see how that goes. But
Yay! Oh
yeah,
my god, I can't believe it.
I know. Like, what? I was like so scared, like just having like one embryo, and then if it didn't even work, like, what? Oh,
Mhm.
yeah. So So we are
Yeah, but
in
everything
our
worked out.
pregnancy mom era.
Yes, and we're both in our pregnancy mom era. Shoot. So how
Yeah.
many weeks are you today?
Well, today I am, oh shoot, I don't even know, 6 weeks and some days.
Okay. So I'm 13
Six
weeks.
weeks and three
S-
days.
Okay, so we're like 6, 7 weeks
hmm
difference.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm super early. Obviously, I'm going to announce super early, just like I would, because in IVF, you just know a lot earlier than most people don't have their first appointment until like 7 or 8 weeks anyway.
Right.
And I'm pregnant regardless. So I'm going to announce early. So yeah.
Yeah, that's how I felt too. I just announced with everybody basically.
Yeah.
I like didn't
So,
keep it a secret. I mean, I didn't announce on like social media until recently, but oh, I'm so excited. Yay.
yeah.
Now we have to see. I just want to know if you're having a boy or a girl.
I know. I know. Oh, how many? I can do that at 10 weeks, right?
Yeah, I
So
did mine at 10 weeks. Hopefully they let you do yours early too cuz last time mine I didn't get done till like 13 weeks or 12 weeks or something.
I think I did it at 11 last time. So
Oh, did you? Okay.
I should be able to do, but I got a new OB. So we'll see.
Okay, yeah. And you'll have to let us know how your ultrasound goes.
So first ultrasound coming up, and yeah, we'll go from there.
Yeah. So when would the birthday be? March, right? March
March 21st. Yeah.
March 21st. Okay.
Yeah.
I know
So
you don't
here we
like
go.
March, but March is a good month. I
It's close enough where it's like towards the end of March, like closer to
Yeah.
spring. So
I feel like it's close enough to Axel, so if you were having a boy, you could probably still use the same clothes for the most
oh
part.
yeah. Yeah, exactly. So that'll be good because it's literally a month after Axel,
Hmm.
because he's end of
Yeah.
February. So yeah.
Do you think you would do combined birthdays like we would do?
Uh, maybe. I don't
Yeah.
know.
I know it's
I
hard
feel
on
like
like
at the end of March you could get away with doing something outside nicer
yeah.
instead of
Yeah, you
doing
probably
like
could.
by Axel's birthday in the snow, but we'll see.
Yeah. I'm so excited for
Yeah,
you.
so that's my
Well,
update. I'll let y'all
congratulations.
know how the what am I gonna go do? The ultrasound. I'll let y'all know how the ultrasound goes. Bad.
And how have you been feeling? Like, because I know you were really nauseous with Axel.
I've been getting some nausea spells again.
Yeah.
And it's like usually after dinner, or like while I'm eating dinner. This week it kind of started a little bit in the morning here and there, but I mean it's so faint, like it's like probably there for like a good 10 minutes and then it's done. So I'm just expecting it to happen
Yeah.
because I was like that with Axel.
Do you remember when it? Yeah. Do you remember with Axel when
I
it?
want to say like 8 weeks to like
Okay.
14 weeks was like the
14. Yeah.
worst part. Yeah.
Okay.
So we'll see.
Yeah. Well, hopefully you don't, but at
Yeah.
least you know what to expect, I guess, and know it works for you.
Yeah, so I already got my little lemon drop things that help me. Ugh. So yeah, that's my mom era. Thanks for
Woohoo.
joining us on the Mom Era podcast this week. Follow us on Instagram and TikTok at momera_podcast and reach out to us via email at momerapodcast@gmail.com. We'll see you next week.
Bye bye.
Bye.